Okay, so good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 6th episode of our SCM talk show. As you know that we plan to have this talk show every fortnight. Last one was, I think, on 10th of October, 2 weeks back. And the topics that we have here, we choose topics from the survey that we have done. I think you all responded to the survey, and you gave a lot of topics that you would prefer to have. So we are going, topic by topic, from that. So the session is being recorded, as Mr. just now said, and it will be made available free on KnoWerX mobile app also and YouTube channel also. So you can, for those of you who could not attend, maybe they'll be able to listen to this recorded video. And right now we are putting everyone on listen only mode. So please switch off your microphone and switch off your video. And if you have any questions, you can please type the questions in chat box. You don't have to wait till the end. As and when you have a question, you can keep typing so that we'll collect it. And at the end, we'll try to answer as many as we can, depending on the availability of the time. So it's my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Shweta Goela. Shweta is currently associated with leading supply chain logistics company, Safe Express. I'm sure everyone knows that. We specialize in express distribution through surface and air also across all pin codes of India. She's working in the capacity of General Manager Corporate Strategy. She works on identifying, conceptualizing and planning of long-term improvement projects and cuts across different functional areas: HR, training, corporate communications, operations, business development, all kind of, functions. So she has earned her MSc from Delhi University, an MBA also, and she's also an APIX CSCP supply chain professional, certified professional, and she's also an APIX instructor, right? So her overall experience is of 15 years, including including nearly 10 years of experience in supply chain logistics space alone. Parallelly, she has been engaged in delivering workshops for corporates and guest lecture for educational institutions like colleges and universities, and has been representing Safe Express in different forums. So welcome, Shweta, to this talk show.
Thank you, Ravindra. Thank you so much. And first of all, I would really appreciate how KnoWerX is organizing this talk show to enhance knowledge of supply chain management community in India. And I generally look forward to the shows because these shows give immense insights on the relevant topics related to supply chain management. And it's an honor to be here at this supply chain management talk show.
So I would say thank you very much for accepting our invitation. And I think you are the right person to talk about tracking of transportation and so on. So I think I'll start the question answer sessions. To begin with, I think there is a lot of talk about real-time tracking, IoTs and all of that. There's a lot of over talk about that, and I'm sure some professionals are into it and some professionals are curious. What is it, how it happens, and so on and so forth. So my question to you is what this real-time tracking means for Safe Express and how and where we all can use it.
Right. So we all understand, being a part of supply chain management community, that very important for supply chain management is visibility in supply chain from the standpoint of synchronized supply chains and all. So here the real-time data capturing plays a very critical role in any supply chain for the integrated information sharing across the supply chain entities, and it also enables proactive gap finding, quicker action taking, and taking timely decisions in the best interest of the customers, as well as to also ensure operations and cost efficiency in any supply chain. So especially in B2B network, where material is sent downstream from suppliers to manufacturers to distributors, wholesalers, retailers, the sending and receiving parties need to track the shipments, right? Track the shipments or the vehicles in which their shipments are traveling. to ensure that whatever activities, whatever value add these entities are adding to the supply chain, like if they're manufacturers and they're doing production, if they are dealers and distributors, they are distributing, and if this is going to their own stores for the sale, then they also need to ensure the availability of the product to the end customer in timely and cost-effective manner. So, and especially in post-GST environment, demand is for express direct distribution for smaller shipments, which earlier in the pre-GST era, it was happening through state-level warehouses to, save taxes. Here at Safe Express, we cater to the express distribution requirements of businesses. So may it be, an automotive customer or a customer that belongs to pharmaceuticals, engineering, publishing houses, or apparels and lifestyle, or FMCG, name any customer, or may it be e-commerce or modern retail, customers. So here the basic requirement of customer is time definite deliveries, right? So we commit them that their material will be delivered in this much time to either, as I said, to their own retail stores or to their customers, which can be dealers, distributors, manufacturers, or fulfillment centers. So as a logistics partner, we have to ensure that, this real-time data gets captured at every touch point. So for example, at the time of booking, only we affix the barcoded marking stickers on each package, so that we can scan the identity of this package throughout the course of its distribution, right? And this particular sticker gets scanned each time these packages get loaded, unloaded during our distribution, because we work on hub and spoke model. So the material gets consolidated at a hub before it moves to its destination hub. Delivery end, each packet gets scanned and delivered, and this information goes to our customers on a real-time basis, that where, because they want to track their consignment, they would want to know where my consignment is lying. So now internally, all this data can be tracked through the technology to improve, as I said, overall efficiency and enhancing customer service through providing reliable, time-definite services, or externally, it can also be accessed by the customers through the user interfaces we provide to them. Maybe they're tracking through website, they're tracking through the portals that we may have given to them, or certain apps, right, wherein they track the consignments and they get to know the expected date of delivery, which will help them to further do certain actions or do certain things. So at our hubs also, we can track the estimated arrival time of these, vehicles that are coming to our hubs. And definitely we can plan our operations accordingly. And at every stage, we can track, are there any delays or are there any issues that are... Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I think someone, so please put on mute if your mic or somebody is speaking. Yeah, please go ahead, Shweta.
Yeah. So at every stage, we can track maybe if the shipment is getting delayed or there are any issues that are being faced, so that proactively these can be arrested and we can deliver our, consignments to our customers on time. So what it ensures better scheduled cycles, load planning, it ensures cargo safety throughout its distribution. We can monitor the performance of routes besides, just knowing having the visibility of our fleet. And we have also integrated it with weather forecasting. So wherein, we get twice a day, we get these weather updates, right? And this is integrated in our ERP, and all our gateways would get this intimation that, if, for example, tomorrow it's going to be the rainy day and it's going to be, there's going to be any storm or certain things, right? They can be proactively prepared and they can actually look forward to delivering those consignments today itself, so that they don't face any issues of late deliveries, the next day. So even customers can access this information while they are tracking their consignments, right? And the estimated, date of delivery. So So all major, generally the logistics service providers who are operating as organized players in India are and who are operating in express distribution domain are definitely using GPS, which is the global positioning system, or we can say the technology that we are using in vehicle tracking devices that we use in our vehicles, as well as varying from service provider to service provider, they are using technologies to track and trace the consignment during the flow of its distribution. However, it is not a mandate as of now for private vehicle operators to have GPS on their trucks, but they're just doing it to improve their efficiency and to provide visibility, reliable services to their customers.
So I'm very happy, very excited to know this, that all these are being done. I think 10 years back situation must have been very different. I think these changes have taken place in last 10 years maybe.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think you just now said that private transporters may not be required to track their I think their trucks or whatever. But
Yeah.
I think I heard somewhere that the trucks, but tankers especially, which deliver petrol and diesels to the retailers. They used to, if you remember, a few years back, there used to be a system where they will go somewhere and they will mix some naphtha or something in that, and the adulterated petrol and diesel will be dispensed at the retailers. So I think to avoid that, government has made something compulsory for tracking, and I think even in mining field, I think they made it compulsory because there's a lot of manipulation even in iron ore and mining area also. So I hear that in private they have not made it any mandatory, right?
Yeah, there are certain sectors definitely, and we don't cater to these services. These are not the kind of products that we deliver, but definitely, as far as I know, it has been made mandatory by specific state governments in the transportation industry, that Department of Transportation, that these vehicles and fleet used for mining, petroleum and gas and such related sectors, it is mandatory for vehicles to have vehicle tracking, because that way you will be able to track them on a real-time basis, and you can ensure the safety of the contents going inside them, the tankers and all that carry petroleum and natural gas and all those vehicles. For all those vehicles, it is mandatory. Yes, you're right.
And I think even from 2019, I think they made it compulsory for the vehicles which get registered with the government to have a tracking device, what they call as vehicle location tracking device. There is some standard called AIS 140, so you have to have the device. Now, whether the owner of the vehicle uses that or not, because they'll have to provide some additional software and so on. But I think most commercial vehicles now have that. Not private vehicles again, only commercial vehicles.
Yeah. Yes, you're right. As you rightly mentioned, AIS, which is the Automotive Industry Standard 140. Okay. This is a set of regulations that was published by Automotive Research Association of India, which is RI. And this is for all public transportation systems. And what they wanted to do is they wanted to build an intelligent transportation system in India. Oh, so, okay. As you know, it's very congested. The roads are so congested that they wanted to make sure that which are the vehicles that are plying on the road. And they want to make sure that how can they plan better? How can they make it more intelligent? In India, especially the transportation system that is carried out by the commercial vehicles and all the vehicles for that matter. But initially what they've done is, according to this circular, it mandates the use of GPS equipment in both OEM and aftermarket commercial and public utility vehicles. And again, as I said, they want to enhance their operations control, and that would help them to maybe plug in the loopholes related to delays, deviations, pilferages, adulteration, and also, especially in the event of any mishap or emergency, if they have this data, they can locate the vehicle in distress and send assistance to them, right? Driver behavior and driving pattern can also be monitored. And probably they would want to, have more technology here, wherein maybe advanced driver assistance systems, which is prevalent globally, can be used in the Indian transportation sector. But that is only going to possible if these vehicle tracking devices are there on the commercial vehicles. And as I said, it is right now mandatory for specific public service vehicles, and like buses, intercity and intracity public buses, and intercity and intracity private ones also are included in this. Private ones as in private buses, even taxis, the car rentals, taxi fleet owners, your corporate fleets, etc. And even the schools, universities, and corporate bus operators come under the ambit of this particular regulation. And of course, it has to get implemented from April 2019 onwards. But this is, getting delayed, and compliance has been delayed by different states, and they are jostling with it. But hopefully, and in the best interest of our public and to safeguard the interest of our public, we should get this implemented as soon as possible.
So what is the additional cost of, making this happen? I mean, I'm talking about some equipment that will have to go onto the vehicle, then some software will have to go, and I think some connectivity will have to go. I don't know, all that. So what is the cost, like one time and recurring cost? How much is the cost approximately?
So before going into the cost, we must understand what technology goes into it. So first of all, we need to understand that any vehicle with this vehicle tracking device, is connected, or we are tracking the location of that particular vehicle, right? So whichever vehicle is having this vehicle tracking device would be, would be tracked through satellite.
Yeah.
So this method is called triangulation method, wherein different satellites capture the coordinates of that particular vehicle in terms of it longitude, latitude, elevation, and also captures the time. So that way we are able to capture all these coordinates. So you can be able to track the location as well as the time of any vehicle. Now, when it gets tracked and the coordinates are captured, these are further then disseminated through our cellular network, the GSM or the GPRS network that we have. These are the mobile communication technology that we use. And further, this information can be accessed through our computers and mobiles, right? And these coordinates in itself can be very difficult to reach. So their systems are integrated with Google Maps or Map My India, so that they can see where is the vehicle on the map, right? So it displays the vehicle on the map in the application. So here we can use two technologies to so you can use cellular technology to transfer this information. You can even use the NAVIC system, the what we call as Inmarsat, Indian Maritime Satellite. So that can also be used. Cellular technology, cellular mobile technology can be used, and we can use RFID also. But for RFID, we need to have that network wherein we can have towers to track the sensors, to track the RFID chips, right? And that is going to be costly. So as I said, all these technologies, all these go into this technology that we are using in vehicles for vehicle tracking, right? So definitely we also need to understand that in what frequency are we accessing this data. So there are a lot of cost points here, right? Cost parameters, we can say. Maybe the frequency of pings that we want. So so in a minute, how many pings do you want of that specification, latitude, longitude, those coordinates? How many pings do you want in a minute, right? Do you want an active system or a passive system? So for an active system, you are getting real-time updates. In a passive system, the tracking device is storing this information in it, which can be accessed once the trip is completed. So you may want to track certain things on real-time basis. You may want to, passively store the data in these devices for further view. right? The technology that you are using in these devices, whether these are wired or non-wired, do they have a power backup, battery backup, and what all things do you want to really track? That also matters. The number of alerts you want, right? Even there is a cost to people tracking a vehicle. So, for example, if you're getting 3 to 6 coordinate of these vehicles, and if you are running a fleet of 100 vehicles, so how many people do you need to actually keep tracking vehicles, right?
Like in ATC.
Right. No, so that is an outcome that how much, yeah, of course, you are tracking a vehicle on all these coordinates, lat long elevation, and also the time. So in a minute, if you're capturing 6 of these coordinates per vehicle and multiplied by the number of vehicles, so in a minute, you would want those many, if a person, for example, is tracking, is able to track 4 to 5 vehicles, then you will definitely need that many people to track it, right? So we'll talk in details about it later, maybe. Then also how much of integration you want with your ERP through APIs, right? What kind of analytics do you want the service providers to offer you? Because there is, as you said, there is a one-time cost of devices, which is, I think, 4 to 6 thousand per device it is, and depending on which kind of device you take, right? And depending on all these price points, there can be a one-time cost of device, plus there can be monthly or annual service charges that your service provider might need. It is involved, so they would be charging you for this monthly or annual service charges to give you that information, because ultimately the data is going to their servers and they are providing you information the way you want, right? So they are definitely going to charge you some amount for providing the service on a monthly basis or on an annual basis.
So I have a question. I think in the past I heard that, I don't know how far that is true. The drivers don't want themselves to be tracked, so they remove those devices, they manipulate, they do something with devices. So what is the level of acceptance by drivers? Because they feel that they are being
Track.
policed, or
Somebody is keeping an eye on me.
yeah, somebody's keeping an eye on them. So how is the acceptance?
So this is a general psychology, Ravindra, because this is a change process. When you get in these devices, and and if they were not habitual to using it earlier, then definitely there will be a lot of apprehensions in them. That so they have their own fears and apprehensions towards adopting this as a technology. But and we had also faced this when we had introduced these GPS devices. So a lot of these devices were being tampered, and they mishandled them, and so this was a phase of acceptance of that change. So it took us 6 to 7 months actually to get them on board, and a lot of mentoring was involved, a lot of counseling was being done with them, and so now they have got habitual to it. And in these devices are a part of a vehicle, and now there are just very rare cases that we face that people are the drivers are tampering with these devices and all. So I think this is very common psychology of any person who is going through the change, and so we know that this is going to happen, and this happened to us every time we introduce any technology. Well, there was when we introduced, there was a time when we introduced barcode scanners, the same apprehensions were there, right? And when we introduced GPS, the same thing we faced. But I think we should give time to them to settle down, and now it's all fine. There are rarely any case of tampering with the devices.
So apart from location is one thing. I think there are some refrigerated transportation, refrigerated vehicles, what we call as reefers. So usually there is some tracking of temperature, sometimes atmosphere, sometimes fuel consumption. So what all things are being tracked, apart from location only?
So yes, as you rightly said, real-time tracking allows you to view the location, as well as it allows you to track other details. So you can monitor if, for example, a driver is taking an alternate route. you have fed in the route that a vehicle should take, then you can also you can monitor if the driver is deviating from that route. You can calculate the idle time, the engine was switched off, or the vehicle, even you can operate vehicle locks through it. You can track overspeeding. You can monitor fuel consumption. You can monitor the temperature, as you said, in cold supply chain. The vehicles are such that you need to monitor the temperature. Even you can you can monitor the temperature of a engine also, right? Geofencing. So what we have done is all our logistics parks, are there on the system, and we have geofenced them. And so the moment the vehicle arrives near to our hub, so it tells estimated time of arrival, that how much time it will take to reach our hub, right? And geotagging can be done. Nearest vehicle locator can be one of the feature that we can use. It can even tell you nearest fuel pump locator. And location history can be stored in the device. And things like tire pressure. So all these, even the emissions, even the SOS button is there. So all these are, we can say, other than the GPS, we can track all these through maybe data loggers or onboard diagnostic devices that we can have, wherein self-diagnostics and reporting capabilities of a vehicle can be accessed, and it gives the status of the vehicle subsystems, maybe engine, maybe tire, maybe fuel, or etc., etc. And this all this helps in vehicle performance monitoring and repairs. So, and definitely that it adds a lot of intelligence to your system. It really depends what all do you want to track, and accordingly you can take that service. But all these options are possible.
So I think for logistics service provider, it's actually this is a business, your bread and butter. But how about the customers? Do customers also value these services? They ask for it. Do they pay for it? How about the customers?
See, your customers, and especially in our kind of network, wherein we are picking a lot of material from a lot of customers, right? And a vehicle would typically have consignments of maybe 100, 200, maybe 5, maybe 10 at times customers. So this is mixed consignments that move in our vehicles, right? So in any other case also, customers would need to know when they will get their shipments, rather than, they don't have time to track each vehicle. And of course, that would be a cost to them also. Why would they want to track each and every vehicle? They would rather want to track when will they get their shipments, right? So that they can plan better for further actions, and to ensure, as I said, to ensure the availability of the products to their customers and end consumers, and for the value-added activity that they are doing. Especially in express distribution, I would say this is an inbuilt cost. Because you are promising them time definite deliveries. So they have all the right to know when will they, when is the expected time of arrival for their shipments. So again, I'm saying they would not want to track each vehicle in which their consignment is traveling. They rather want to know the status of their consignment as per the agreed schedule of delivery. Right.
So I am thinking from customer's point of view. Let's say, if a customer is only using SafeExpress, then I think it will be very easy to integrate, SafeExpress API to their ERP. But what if a customer using, let's say, 3, 4, 5 transporters, and everybody has a different sort of a cloud or a software? I mean, how do they to track? Isn't going to be difficult, or are there any standards which sort of plug in and everybody can talk to each other?
Yes, there are different service providers, and even for us, we can also avail different service providers, right?
Okay.
So GPS services that we are taking, maybe depending on different vendors, they would have different systems for integration and all, right? So wherein we would want different APIs, right? But rather, I would say, if they have multiple, because nowadays customers are willing to work with limited service providers because they don't want to get into the headache of managing so many service providers. But having said that, even if they are working with different transporters, they would rather want to integrate all those tracking through a single interface, right? They would want to
Okay.
access it through a single interface. So they would want analytics to be shown or the dashboards to be shown as per the parameters they want to monitor. So for example, you want to monitor how many of your vehicles exceed the standard time, or what was the idle time that can be taken out of system to provide maybe faster deliveries to your customers. So you can have these different service providers provide you an integrated view wherein you can track this, because this is going to be very difficult for any customer to have so many access points and to track this to monitor so many service providers, right? And so as I said, so they should have their own integrated interface created wherein all the information can flow in synchronized and structured way, rather than going for different subscription based options through different interfaces. And they don't, as I said, they don't need to monitor each vehicle, rather they must analyze only the gaps or the parameters they want to monitor.
So set only the alerts, not actually
Yes,
continuously
only the
monitor.
alerts. Only the alerts, or maybe we can have this integrated wherein they can show customized information as taking some data from your URP and then giving you some meaningful output out of that data that is getting captured.
So let me ask you one question. I see very few women in supply chain, and you being one of them. So, how did your career started in supply chain? I mean, from your school, college days to supply chain days. How did that start?
See, frankly speaking, back in our times, and I'm talking about times like 1997 to 2002, the time when 1997, I completed my 12th and, was going for higher studies. Right when I passed that, there was hardly any awareness about this segment.
Yeah.
Right. And so that was the time when nobody even wanted to willingly join this as an industry, as a career option. But then, I, did my MSc, MBA, and all that happened because, I would not say this was a futile this thing, because of course, there is no direct link to what I studied and where I am today. But definitely my science background did help me to have a scientific approach, because, supply chain and logistics is more a science than an art. So definitely this has helped. However, I've lived my life with the belief that learning never ends, and it continued for life. It has continued till now and will continue throughout my lifetime. I did learn during the course of time, like I did my EPIC certification and acquired CSCP degree when I joined Safe Express. So I realized that this is a logistics industry and I need to keep myself abreast with the knowledge, know-how. I need to have a thorough understanding of the best practices worldwide, because if I'm working in a, in this industry, I should know more that my role would demand, right? And definitely I wanted to connect with the supply chain community and have the knowledge of these practices.
So looking back now, I mean, so now you are in the thick and center of the industry and doing the. What do you like about supply chain management? And
So,
can you narrate some of the at least one incident where you say, this is what really excited me.
Rather you should ask me what I don't like. The only the only fact that there are so less females, as you have pointed out, only 6%, especially in India, in this industry. And other than that, I think from the time I entered into this field till date, there is not even a single day that I have not learned anything new. And every day has been so exciting. Such a dynamic industry that keeps you on your toes. And rightly, this is the age of supply chain management and logistics. It's an I would say it's an evergreen sector. So
Yeah.
no matter what kind of slowdown is going to come, it is going to be an evergreen sector. And especially when government is doing so much to get this in place, the Atmanirbhar Bharat. So this is going to enable Atmanirbhar Bharat, dedicated freight corridors, logistics park being set up, dedicated logistics division under Department of Commerce. Then, even now the right from the metro cities, now they will go deeper into tier 3, tier 4 cities, wherein these cities are going to become new epicenters of growth. So as much as the economy will grow, and so will the supply chain management and logistics, and especially in today's pandemic time, when I would not say this upfront, but then there are sentiments of global supply chains wherein they don't want to work with China, and hence they are looking for setting up their manufacturing ecosystems in India. And of course, now the changing consumer preferences to buy online through e-commerce sites and all. So this industry is going to give a boost. And when you talk about one aha moment, I think when I first visited the logistics park, that was so huge and so much organized. I was having that impression that this is going to be a go down and filled with, cargoes and boxes and whatnot, and there will be a lot of chaos. So that's a typical mindset that anyone would have when it comes to transportation and logistics industry. But when I entered the industry, when I entered this warehouse logistics parks, that was a wow moment for me. And when I, as I said, each single day I'm learning something new about, and especially when I'm working with Safe Express, this is going to be, which has given me an opportunity to explore so many things. I think there's no looking back.
So I think I forgot to ask one question, which anyway I should have asked and everyone asked. I mean, during this pandemic, what are experiences you had with logistics, with customers, with the disruption or whatever.
So yes, there was a lot of disruption because lockdown period was such that, and this was an unprecedented time. So nobody was prepared for it, and the companies were shut, the businesses were shut, and so during the initial days there was a lot of problems because we have booked certain materials and our trucks were on the way and held up at the checkposts, and our lot of consignments were lying at our premises, and there are a lot of residential staff that are there at our hubs. So all of this had to be taken care of. So what we did was we identified what are these critical resources that we have, and this was very clear to us that we want to continue throughout. So, having said that, pandemic may have slowed down economy a bit, but I think the zeal with which we have continued our operations throughout had given us a better edge other than the competition. Because, where the competition tried to narrow down their services and narrow down their network, or maybe cut down on their people or cut down on their strengths, we realize that these are going to be critical for us for in terms of business continuity. We have taken care of them and our entire community, and that way we were able to start our, though the operation was open throughout, but due to certain limitations we were not able to deliver the material or do a pickup. But then as soon as the lockdown opened, we restarted our operations because our entire network was live, right? So definitely this was a testing time. We used it to maybe improve on our processes, maybe to have a better connect with our customers. So all this we did all the while, and believe me, I was more busy in the lockdown period than I was at any given time.
Yeah. See, as a customers, we never had shortage of food. So I think we can imagine that, the food supply chain was working whether pandemic or not pandemic. So I think that production, manufacturing, raw material, everything was working.
As a result of that, it has given us a better edge than other service providers because we are operating with our full network and we have the business back to us, and we are making records every single month.
Very good. So you increase your business?
Of course, yes.
Oh, really?
We did.
No, all the businesses have reduced, I think. That's a good thing to know.
Right. September was an all-time high, and I think October is going to be exceeding that.
Wow. So that's a different kind of a news from other industries, other
Yes.
industries. Of course, they are up and running now. So, but I think they suffered quite a bit somewhere in between.
Yes.
I think the food and pharma was doing okay. No, but other industries suffered a little.
Food,
So how do you keep
pharma,
yourself up to date?
FMCG.
FMC.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there was some break, I think, either from my side or your side. So,
Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear.
Okay.
So
Great.
I want to ask, when you said you keep yourself up to date, so what is your source of information? What do you do? How do you spend time? How do you organize yourself, or you just learn on the fly, or how do you go about it, and what are your sources?
Yeah, it's challenging. It's exciting also, because the kind of projects that I work in, and with the industry that I'm working in, there is every day there is some other change. So might be, the time was there when GST had come in. Then there was some new, this thing, regulation on e-invoicing. Every single day there is a new thing that is coming up, right? So you need to keep yourself abreast with what's happening, right? And with such a dynamic industry that is changing every single moment. So definitely, throughout my career, I've tried to, remain relevant in the industry. To do that, as I said, I did my EPIC certification, CSCP. Then I realized that I need to have my, I need to have better skills on analytics. Then I did that. So every time I realized that, I need to know more, I have completed those particular, I've learned that skill set, I've gained that certification, and, you know, uh, gone ahead with it. So as far as knowledge is concerned, I have to, as I said, I have to keep myself abreast with what's happening. So definitely, I read a lot. I go through journals, research, white papers, and of course, what's happening in the news. You always have to, keep knowing that. So, and it happens on the job also. So every day, as I said, is a new learning.
So, so you have done CSCPs. How it helped you in either in terms of knowledge or career or growth, or how did it help you?
Very much, and I would say definitely CSCP has helped to boost my career. I would say, it gave me a 360-degree view of how things operate worldwide in supply chain management. From knowing what are the industry benchmarks to terminologies that are used worldwide, technologies that are in prevalence, what are the best practices in the industry. So all this happened while I did my course. So it gives you a very broader understanding of how supply chains operate, right? And it gives you an in-depth knowledge also of how things work. So it gives me an extra edge because, as I said, I work on projects which cuts across different departments. So you keep learning, and you keep, and you have this kind of background knowledge. The combination of this really gives you an extra edge, right? So yes, it certainly helped me to pursue and boost my career to what I am today.
So, actually, I mean, for the benefit of our listeners, what skill sets supply chain professionals or logistic professionals should have? So, let's say, for example, you will have to hire people in Safe Express. What would you look for?
See, I would say first and foremost, and as a part of the basic screening process, you need to have a basic knowledge about the subject, right? Then definitely, if the person has to work in your company, there has to be a perfect alignment with your culture. So you have to see that whether this person would fit into your culture or no. It is very, very important, right? And then comes your attitude of ownership and accountability, right? So we want people who would like to take ownership of things that they will manage, right, or are managing. We don't want people who need every time, they need somebody to pinpoint them that you need to do this, do that, and things like that. So the person should be self-motivated, self-driven, should be accountable, should have an attitude towards being accountable to what they are doing. Then very specific to the industry, because this is the supply chain management industry, and by design we are working in India. So the person should have a very deep knowledge about India. So geographical knowledge about India is a must. Then owing to the dynamic nature of this industry, I would say, because every now and then there is a new thing that is coming up. So you need to be first of all, you have to commit to a lifetime learning, and you have to be quick learner. You have to, keep yourself abreast with what's happening, and whatever comes to your way, you have to be a problem solver and decision maker. You have to take quick actions on those things. And of course, as I said, there is so much data being captured in our system throughout, right from the booking till delivery. Definitely, data literacy and analytics is a must, right? And depending on the nature of the work, people do undergo rigorous, training as they join us. May it be industry specific knowledge or company specific, or the work that they are required to do in their work profile. Before they even start to work, we actually train them. So this may take around 1 week to maybe 6 months to train them, depending on what kind of role that they are performing. They're going to perform.
So I need your insight. What is your advice to supply chain professionals? So one is normal advice, for the career growth. Second is people who have lost their job during this pandemic. What do you suggest them? Third is, I think, especially for you, is for women. What do you suggest for women in supply chain? I think most of the women will be really scared to join the supply chain logistics industry, thinking that you'll have to work with low grade rowdies or drivers or something like that. So I think if you can give advice to all these three sort of people.
So I must say, and this goes for everyone generally, that go for proper certifications, because, and especially when such time comes like lockdown and all, you must go for, um, getting yourself upskilled and gaining more knowledge. So you should go for proper certifications and give a boost to your career. Commit yourself to lifetime learning. Stay abreast with the latest know-how in the industry you work with, you're going to be working in, or you aspire to work in, right? And all these things will definitely help you to make your profile more relevant, right? And then, of course, wherever you're working, you need to be give your 100% to whatever you do. So it's not one way. You have to give your 100% to whatever you do and wherever you work. I believe everything else, and here I mean success, will follow you, definitely follow you. And especially for those who are not working anywhere due to this pandemic situation, I would say, and I have covered in this particular session also, that come and join this industry, because this industry really needs you. The kind of work that we're going to do, the Atmanirbhar Bharat and the economic growth that we are expecting in India, so many jobs will get created in the industry. Right? So we really need you. So come get yourself certified and get the relevant skill sets, join the right industry first of all, and then join the right company that will give boost to your career. And thirdly, last but not the least, about the females, I would say this is our own mindset that we have to fight with, right? Forget about this industry. I think a lot of females even give up their career after getting married, right? So I would say, we must change that, and you must contribute to the industry. You must contribute to economic growth of the country. You must join, and especially in this industry, there is a mindset, I know, There was a mindset a decade before for anyone that nobody would want by choice to join this industry. But let me tell you, now there are courses that make you skilled in this particular field, and even in the logistics sector, it's not just the warehouses or the logistics park that you need to work in. You can work in any profile. There are different functional areas. You can work in different profiles and different departments, just like any other company. This would have a typical HR department and IT department, and as I said, corporate strategy department that I work with. So supply chain and ladies, I would say they have a link, because even at homes you have a better supply chain.
Yeah,
that's how everything works in tandem, and you never see that there is anything that is in scarcity, because your mothers, your sisters and all order this on time. They know what is getting over in the kitchens, and they keep their inventory up to date.
I think kitchen is the best model for manufacturing and supply chain. I think, for demand forecasting and production and procurement, and I think
starts from your and I think females are very good at that, and there are certain skill sets that females possess by birth, and more I would say. You'll start saying that I'm getting feminist, but then definitely this industry needs you. There are only 6% females in this industry, but definitely we need people who are trained. We need people who are skilled, and you can join this industry anytime. And the skill sets that I have mentioned, the right certification, the right approach, the right attitude can take you wherever you want. This industry,
the environment is safe for women, right? I mean, the work environment.
Of course, this environment is safe, and the safety is in your hands, I would say. So there are certain things that we need to remove from our minds, and generally the environment is safe for women, but then you have to take your own precautions as you go.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful talk. So I think I'll hand it over to Nistush, because there might be some questions from listeners. So I think, so Nistush, you can take over now.
All right, thank you. That was quite an insightful session, quite a good time at after the session. So more than the questions, we have appreciations in the chat box saying it's quite insightful, and thank you for such a session. So we'll move to the questions. As of now, we have just one question which has come up from Mr. Bharat Jain. So he would like to ask, how would you suggest to develop a performance control system using the data coming from vehicle tracking system?
See, I would say that would depend on what is the nature of services that you are offering and what is your customer demanding. So definitely you can build in a performance management system, and that is going to be a wonderful way that while you are tracking the vehicles, you are also tracking certain certain parameters and certain things about the vehicle performance also as a part of that. So this would further facilitate you to better serve your customers. So it depends what kind of services you are providing, and also how is the customer perceiving your services, good or bad. So if something like time definiteness is so much required in their business, time to market is so much critical to them, then you would like to have, whether, say for example, Delhi to Bangalore route, that it should take maybe 30 hours to reach, maybe, just I'm just giving an arbitrary figure, right? So you can track these vehicles, and you will come to know that whether they are taking 30 hours or there was idle time in between, and they were not, if we cut down on the idle time, then definitely the vehicle can reach on time. So improving on the vehicle performance through this data capturing and analytics can help you further improve your operations efficiency, cost efficiency, and also will help you to maybe plug in certain things wherever there are gaps, and move forward. So yes, it would help in the performance management. It will help you to feed the data and provide meaningful evaluation of performance that would be in line with the overall performance that your customer is expecting from you as a company. I think I've answered your query, and if there is
I'm
any
sure,
further.
I'm sure. Yes, yes. We've received a reply from Mr. Bharat also. That absolutely fine. So we have another question from Deep. How blockchain will help logistics?
See, blockchain will definitely help logistics as it would help any other industry, right? But right now it's too early. It's in the early phases, and as and when it will come and we will have that technology to avail, then definitely it would change the entire paradigm, I would say. And I think that would come under the scope of another session. How will blockchain technology help logistics? Right. So we'll wait for that session.
Absolutely, absolutely right. So, thank you so much. I think we do not have more questions as of now. So, I think we can close the session. So, thank you so much, Ms. Shweta, for joining us, taking out time, and for such an insightful session. It was really great to listen to all those insights. Thank you, Ravindra sir, for hosting the session once again. It was a great session. We have got a lot of good ideas. I'm sure a lot of insightful things. Uh, for all the audience, thank you everyone for joining in, taking out time on Saturday and listening to our talk shows. You have been really committed to this. I can see that. So kindly spread the word among your friends and families and your colleagues. Ask them to join the SCM talk show, the next episode, which would be on 7th of November. And the topic for that is e-commerce supply chain. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people should be interested to listen on that. I've also shared our links where you can follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, as well as on YouTube, so that you're updated with the recordings and also with the upcoming shows. You can also download our app. We have SCM Trivia that goes on every Tuesday and Fridays. Every month, we give out prizes to the winner of the leaderboard who stands first across India, I would say, on SCM Trivia quiz. So please feel free to download the app and utilize the services. It's absolutely free. If you have any speakers to nominate, or if you would like to have any other request, kindly write to us on tcd@knowworks.com, or you can share or you can WhatsApp us. The WhatsApp numbers are readily available on our website. Once again, thank you everyone for joining in. See you again on 7th November at 4 p.m. on the same link and same place. Goodbye. Have a great weekend,
Thank
everyone.
you so much, and stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you.